Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast.
This isn't two podcasters talking business. This is two business guys trying to podcast. I'm fucking dying.
It's okay, take your time.
I'm dying.
Tyler, can you fix this?
Oh my god.
No, I made it worse. Here's the screw.
You literally can't operate anything without fucking breaking it. A clapper included, apparently.
Tyler.
Oh my god. That sound is in my nightmares.
So, we can't get into specifics yet, but we're about to start two different, relatively large construction projects that you have to do what I say again.
Well,
are you ready for
me
breaking stuff and then going, Tyler?
I'm bracing for it. Like, I'm gonna take general guidance and then do what I want.
That's fair, but it's my project, both of them.
Yeah, and you don't know what you're doing, so that's why I'm helping.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah.
I may not really like my friends or think they're relatively like competent, smart, or anything, but they do have skills that I don't have.
They are useful to me.
Yeah, they are useful to me. We were at a housewarming party, Tyler and I, and basically our whole core group of friends. And I had arrived very late because I was working until very late. And I was sitting there in the corner sober and just watching these people. And I turned to our other friend, Margaret, and I said, do you ever just kind of feel that like all your friends are idiots and you don't know what you're doing with your life? Like, I kind of had an epiphany where I like really need to change things. Because if this is like the sum of the 5 people I spend the most with,
Yeah.
I'm going down a really dark path. And I really audit my circle and get some people that put in some more effort.
I don't know what to say about that. It sounds like you're not being sarcastic, which is really funny.
Anyway, welcome to episode 96 of Alcohol Beyond This Point, the podcast where we discuss business topics, both sober and drunk, to see if we come to the same conclusion. This episode brought to you by Old Smoky Tennessee Whiskey. More on that later. How are you doing, Tyler?
Besides choking on the Old Smoky,
you have
pretty
a
good,
very
pretty good.
dirty shirt.
I am so dirty.
Very dirty hat.
I've been wearing the same dirty shirt and hat for the last 2 episodes, I think. Maybe 3.
Yeah, you've been coming here right after work.
Yeah.
Instead of, we've been like filming 2 or 3 hours earlier than we typically do.
Yeah.
Just because you're doing a job site near my house.
Yeah, and I'm like 2/3 of the way to your house, and it doesn't really make sense to go back home because I basically get home and then I would put a shirt on and then turn around and leave and come back 30 minutes the other direction. So
this works better for me, honestly. Like,
yeah,
not in the summer, it doesn't obviously because I'm working until late on Wednesdays, every day basically. But this like filming at like 6 or 7 gives me enough time to like sober up before bed. Like I can still get like some emails and shit done. Like when we're drinking until like 11:30 and I have to be up at 8 in the morning, it's like that's the entire evening gone for me. Number 1, and number 2, it sucks getting up in the morning.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I wish we could do it all year round.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully. I mean, the event. Because I do a lot of farmers markets in the summer is what I was referring to. So I work pretty much every day, and I have a event until 7 o'clock on Wednesdays, and then by the time I get home, it's 8 o'clock. And but that was actually one of my lowest selling events last year, and we might be thinking about pivoting the business plan away from it. I can't. We'll talk more about this when I can announce the thing that I want to announce, but
samplings and different things like that could potentially,
they're just not as effective as they used to be, and I think that's the main reason is because of the recession. Like, everyone's broke.
Yeah,
I'm not making excuses for myself, obviously, because my first impulse is okay, we now need to pivot. Like, I used to be able to show up at an event, like a trade show, with $22 bottles of wine and move them. Like, couldn't sell them fast enough.
Yeah,
and people would buy 3-4 bottles.
And
then COVID happens.
I'm going to say, if anyone's thinking this in the back of their head, the wine has gotten significantly better. So
since back then.
Since then.
Yeah. So, I think we have the best products we've ever had.
Yeah.
We're coming up on 6 years. We have the best wines we've ever had.
Yeah. Zach doesn't miss. He hasn't made anything that I didn't like. Yeah. Even stuff that you guys don't like. I'm like, it's pretty good.
I can see the merit in all my products. I wouldn't sell them otherwise. But COVID happens,
fair point.
and then since being back from COVID, we can't really. I'm doing 50% what I used to do at these markets.
Yeah.
And just for reference, like I kind of did my numbers for the summer. I probably did $100,000 less than I would have, with pre-COVID numbers.
Yeah,
so we're not talking about like small, it's a lot of, it's real money, right? It's probably like, cause like I make 30%, maybe more of my money in like June, July, August.
Yeah.
Right. And then another 20% in December
For Christmas.
for the year. Yeah. So, been not great, but I've been considering pivoting the business model, and the Wednesday afternoon markets is one of the ones we would be dumping if we did pivot the business model. So might be replaced with other work. We'll see. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking down the barrel at something kind of similar. So right after the holidays, me and Branton are going to be sitting down and kind of I don't know what the word is. Reconfiguring the business. That's the English. Yeah, we're going to be moving into some other things that we're not really focusing on, and just kind of redirecting our energy into some things that are more realistic for like the next year. Trying to broaden our horizons, but also like follow some trends, I guess would be the right way to say it, because there's definitely a lot of like trendy things that we're very specifically well equipped to handle, and yeah, I think we want to compete in some new stuff, and just for the sake of ourselves, do something that's a little bit new, so we're not fucking bored for the next year.
Are you finding that your business, because your business is mainly focused on the top end of the top end, like you're focused on luxury.
Well,
are you?
Yeah.
Rich people don't really get affected by recessions.
No,
right?
Not really.
Because them getting negative 5% on the year on their S&P 500, while still making whatever it is, like
the only real effect, like their income's probably not going down significantly. Like maybe they're just not making gains. Maybe their equity portfolios are maybe taking a hit. But the thing, people don't buy on their equity portfolios. People buy on cash flow and cost of borrowing. And for wealthy people, cost of borrowing often isn't really a pain point for them, or they're not borrowing at all. Maybe they're buying in cash. Maybe they've got other ways to leverage money. Maybe they're borrowing like cash against their bonds or something like that. I don't know what they're doing.
Well,
but
when you're spending 50% of your disposable income on groceries, and then grocery prices go up by 50%, you're fucked. But when you're making, $1 million a year, it's not like those changes are going to hurt you as much.
Yeah, Buddy spending six figures on his wine fridge is not
feeling the pain.
Not worried. Yeah.
But so are you feeling your business is slowing down at all?
No.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
No, we're accelerating.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just are bored.
Yeah.
I mean, we can we can continue to manage what we do and broaden our horizons, but it's like kind of the vision for the business. There's a reason we have a generic name, Surface Studio, is to not be pigeonholed with one simple discipline. We want to have kind of a suite of options and different things that we're going to be capable of doing that designers can come to us for, and maybe get on the bleeding edge of certain things. Because if you're on the bleeding edge of stuff, that really allows you to kind of like backfill everyone else. It's like how Ferrari makes a shitload of money on jackets to people that can't afford Ferraris, but it's like, and they make a shitload of money on Ferraris because of how well their Formula One car performs, but a lot of those people aren't able to afford a Formula One performance level. It's just like they want to know that you're capable. They want the Formula One winner to build their daily driver, which doesn't make any logical sense, but it's how people buy, right? It's why car companies invest in Formula One, and it's kind of the same reason why we want to work on the bleeding edge of styles and techniques and materials, so that you backfill in everything else, because you're just like seen as the peak, the pinnacle, the authority on all things cool, basically.
Yeah,
So-
my business is based on selling volume of products to relatively middle income or low income people.
But the consumer psychology that you're dealing with, well,
I don't think I'm really dealing with consumer psychology. Like people just don't have the disposable income anymore, which is fine.
Right, yeah. Like
Right.
your headwinds don't have anything to do with psychology, really. No.
No. I think my marketing recently has gotten better.
Yeah.
But I think my pivot that I want to do is we're gonna try and bring some more, like most of my wines are around the $20 mark. I want to bring some around like the $13 mark.
Right.
It's gonna be tough to do because my margins, I can't compete with fucking Barefoot. Like I just not going to be able to. But there's some, I don't want to say like cost cutting. Like we can basically make, and I don't want to say lower quality, but like, quicker to make products from worse ingredients. Like, but then I want to be upfront about it, right? Be like, this is our budget line,
Right.
and it's like the grapes that the vineyard didn't want to make into wine.
Right.
We can make, because like, what the fuck do you think these box wines are made out of?
Right.
What do you think Power States is made out of? It's the garbage grapes that get thrown away, right?
And I drink that shit all the time.
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to move into. But like, if you know anything about wine, like especially like even my process is like it's a year from concept till product out, typically, right? Because I got to age them. So we're working on some stuff right now, but it's like that's not going to help me for another 9 months at least.
Right, and by which point, I mean,
I don't think this is getting better anytime soon.
Yeah, so let's speculate on the stonk market.
Yeah,
because that's what people came here for. But I did want to say, like, small correction, something that I learned about between last episode and now. The Balenciaga controversy.
okay.
When previously, like the pictures that I showed you last time, it was like the teddy bears with the bondage stuff on them. Apparently, that was just like the stuff that got left up on the internet. The actual inflammatory shit was already gone by the point that I was looking for it, which is fair, because it was pornographic. So, but it wasn't actual photography, or it wasn't depicting any like actual kids, but it was like these sculptures that were made by some artist for Balenciaga's whatever line and release, and it was just like really graphic sculptures of kids in like sexual positions with stuff going on, and it was a lot worse.
So I'm gonna give you.
So it was significantly worse than I thought it was, and it started to make a little bit more sense what people were freaking the fuck out.
I'm gonna give you a little bit of a education class here.
Okay.
On child pornography.
Yeah, it's bad.
Well, I don't want to say that. Just kidding. No, don't take
It's
that.
like no,
I'm not even gonna
pulls
follow
like
that.
pulls the Kanye. He's like, I don't like putting the word evil next to the word Nazi.
Yeah. But
and Alex Jones is like,
but Nazis are evil. Well, anyway, I think there's good and bad in everyone.
yeah,
Especially Hitler.
that was so funny.
So the concept of lolly, you know about this? It's
Referring to Lolita.
well, yeah, that's where it gets the name from, I think, or that's where Lolita gets the name from. Is hentai? It's hentai, but depicting children.
Oh right, yeah.
And how they get away with it is like,
It's not real.
well, that's maybe the letter of the law, but how like artists justify it is like, no, they're like a shapeshifter, and they're actually 1,000 years old. They're just in a kid's body right now.
Oh.
And that's like what you'll see online all the time. So they'll draw these children having sex, and then be like, well, no, they're actually like
ancient beings.
They're fairies. So it's like it's okay.
Right.
Which I'll let you form your own opinions there. I don't I don't want to think about it anymore.
Yeah, I don't want to think about it either, but generally my thoughts are every other attempt to deal with child pornography is just been an abject failure.
Yeah.
The enforcement, there's no capacity for the enforcement, there's no capacity for the filtering, for the, dealing with this shit online, unless you get like draconian level internet controls and censorship from the government, like beyond even what China has.
You see that guy that got arrested for sending a picture of his child's penis to his doctor during a COVID lockdown?
God, that's incredible.
Yeah, he was like, he couldn't go into the hospital because the hospital was closed for a COVID lockdown.
Yeah.
And then his child had like a rash on his penis, like the infant, like baby.
Yeah.
And the doctor's like, here's a secure link you can upload photos to so I can diagnose it.
Right.
And fucking Google pinged it.
Right.
And they sent like FBI to his house.
Yeah, because that's in transit, they
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah.
But to like really deal with this stuff, because I'm not going to get into like how people get away with this shit, but basically it's not getting sent
We
around.
don't want to help you.
it's not getting sent around, so they can't catch it really. There's infinite workarounds for this shit, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, if there's something like a drawn animated thing that prevents some kid from actually becoming a victim of this, I mean, is that a net positive? Probably.
Yeah, that's always.
It's like pornography reduced like the rate of like sexual assault, right?
Is that true?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, because I've heard like
Because it's like an outlet that wasn't previously available.
I've heard like anti-porn activists say that it increases chances of sexual assault because then people are like see something they want to enact their fantasy of.
I don't think anybody that watches porn would agree with that. Like if I think people that have never seen porn might say that.
I just don't know the data.
I'm fairly certain that it's been shown to reduce sexual aggression.
Okay, all right. I can see
Because that's not like, yeah, having a regular outlet and release for your desires does not increase your manic aggression.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
Like hitting a punching bag every day isn't going to make you more violent.
Yeah, I guess like it's a really dark question to ask, but
It is.
Should somebody be able to watch animated child pornography so that they won't seek out real child pornography? Or they've been reopening this conversation with AI,
Right.
deep fake
Right.
child porn.
Right. Yeah,
Like
no, it's a fucking crazy
Like, it's
question,
gross.
and nobody wants to talk about it because it's like
Yeah.
both answers are
you're-
still just as disturbing.
You're creepy for even knowing the data on like
Yeah.
AI child porn.
Exactly.
Yeah, thinking about it makes the hair on my arms stick up just now, but like,
But not dealing with it isn't making it better.
but it's also not hurting anybody, right?
Yeah,
Like in theory.
in theory.
Yeah. It's
The only like real solution is finding every person through draconian internet lockdowns and then scanning everyone's personal devices
you
and
know,
hardware
but
and then chemically castrating all those people.
but then we're back to like who's paying for this?
Everyone.
This mass surveillance, right? Like
Figuratively and literally, everyone's gonna pay for this.
Yeah.
It's gonna fucking ruin everyone. Like this is that people wouldn't stand for it as much as they
Yeah.
hate the crime, as much as they despise that and would like do anything to stop this person. That the one thing they wouldn't do is give up their own personal privacy and freedoms.
Do you really think people wouldn't?
Yeah,
I don't know.
look at how people fucking reacted to a pandemic.
Yeah, but like 95% of people took the vaccine.
I don't think it was that
I think it was
high.
like 87% in Canada.
Well, in Canada, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can see like people taking the vaccine, but like there's limits to which people will go. Like that's not a very high cost to take a vaccine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't know.
surrendering your
Internet freedom.
privacy and
But
freedom.
it's like if you think they're not watching you right now, you're
Yeah.
you're deluded.
and that's the other fact. It's like I've even kind of come around on some things, and I'm like, yeah, if I'm looking up something sus on my phone, I'm like, I'm not even gonna bother with like the browser guards because it's like it's fucking futile anyways.
Yeah, I think that people
unless you're using like VPNs and Tor and all this.
But
shit,
even then, like,
yeah,
I don't know.
if someone wants to find it, they're gonna fucking find it.
They've proven that all the big internet providers sell your data to the government.
Yeah,
Like-
and Pegasus can break everything.
Yeah, and like no, I like the fucking. I hate when people are like, "Oh, Canada used to be free." It's like, no, it was like you are living under a goddamn rock that you think Trudeau made mass surveillance. You know what I mean? Like they've been watching us as far back as you can fucking think.
See, this is one of the things I've actually been really thinking about a lot. I went to the Jets game last night, Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation.
We didn't have enough tickets.
Yeah, so why am I the one that gets left out?
Maybe because you call Mitch a shitty friend behind his back.
He is a shitty friend. He didn't invite me to the hockey game.
Anyways, Went to the hockey game.
What do you mean behind his back? I just did it on a recording that I'm going to post on the internet.
Yeah, he's not going to listen to.
Wait. I have plausible deniability of anything I say on here because my friends will never listen to it.
Yeah. Anyways, we're listening to at the beginning of the game.
Also, I didn't say he was a shitty friend. I just said that he was an idiot and a loser. And I also called you the same thing.
That's fair. So, the national anthem is getting sung at the beginning of the game, of course. And
Did you take your hat off?
Yeah. I mean, what hockey games? You feel extra patriotic. It's hilarious.
Okay.
Not so much for the nation, but just for the fact that there's hockey and there's beer in your hand, and it's pretty cool. But at the part of the anthem where they say freedom...
No, they say true north.
Strong and free.
Okay. We yelled true
but
north
anyway,
every time they say true north.
Yeah, no, that happened. But at like the part of the anthem where they say free or freedom,
yeah,
maybe like 5 people are like, boo!
Why?
Good question.
Okay.
And it's the same reason that there's fucking protests and they attempted another trucker convoy to Ottawa because of, we're having our freedoms trampled over.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? What freedoms are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, life is basically the same as it was before, and you didn't have a problem then. Like, what's your dealio?
You're being mass surveilled. You can't do anything they don't want you to do.
And that's how it's always been.
That's how it's always been. And everything that you think you're free to do is controlled opposition.
Right.
You're allowed to do it because they're in complete control of you and you're a tax cattle, and they let you do some things that you think are like, fuck the government, I'm going to do this. It's like, do you not think they account for like the tax evasion or the people not doing getting their vaccine?
They just don't care.
They account for it. Like the market knows all. Everything is priced in.
Yeah, it's an allowable disobedience.
And controlled opposition.
Yeah, and it's you just skirted outside the line, and all of a sudden the system that used to work for you is now working against you, and now you think something has changed, but in reality you've changed. People never think they've changed. They're just like, oh no, now I just realized the truth. It's like, no, you went down a fucking conspiracy rabbit hole and now you believe in a pile of dog shit that maybe has some basis in reality. Sure, maybe, yes, there is a deep state of unelected actors that control the mechanisms of government, and we don't actually have a lot, like, all that shit's true, but like and then the Jews are like, they lose you in the end. Like the foundations of their beliefs are usually false, but the mechanisms of the oppression, they're fucking valid. But hey, you know what? Your white privilege protects you, and if you just shut the fuck up and played your life, and if you didn't pay attention to it and just lived your life the way that you wanted to, and you could probably get away with just about everything that you ever want to do, and live a totally happy, free life, and be a generally satisfied person that like resented taxes.
Well, the people that
maybe wanted a bigger magazine on your rifle. Yeah,
the people that say their freedoms are being trampled because they can't go to Applebee's because they're not vaccinated, and they have to have a 5-shot magazine instead of a 15-shot magazine.
Yeah,
in their rifle.
If nobody told you to be angry about that, you'd probably just be a little annoyed.
But then they pay 50% of their income to taxes.
Right.
And that's
fine.
They don't think about that.
Well, some people do.
Some of them do, but like most of the what's like the same like conservatives that are like they want abortion and gay marriage bans, but vaccine mandates are
right
trampling on your freedom, right? Like it's just like
cognitive dissonance. That's actually that's a funny funny segue, because currently a number of Republican state legislatures are like, the Republicans hold more state legislatures than Democrats across the country by a good margin, and in these Republican states where they have a lot of these laws based around medical autonomy, bodily autonomy, for example, in the Utah state constitution, the protections that they built into the constitution that protected polygamy, they are using to protect abortion rights. Because in the constitution it says citizens have the right to determine the like the size and the makeup of their family. And it's like, and the government cannot interfere with that. And they're like, well, that's abortion. So they're using Mormon polygamy laws, and it's going really well. And there's like a number of other places where they've had like these bodily autonomy laws that are like either for vaccine purposes, medical purposes, whatever, that conservatives have passed, because if the logic was internally consistent, they would be totally pro-choice. And it's pretty funny that there's actually like a legal movement using their ass backwards logic against them, and it's working. So that's fun.
You know what else is fun? The part of the show that we call Shot Caller, the part of the show where you, the audience, can pick the shot that we take. As mentioned previously, this episode is sponsored by Old Smoky Tennessee Whiskey. Get your hands on their new Mango Habanero flavored whiskey beverage, available at the Liquor Mart for 75% off for a limited time, $22.48 for a 750 milliliter bottle. That's Old Smoky Tennessee Whiskey. Thanks, Old Smoky, for sponsoring this episode.
You gonna send them that clip?
So one of the Pauls, I think it was Jake, had a fake Red Bull commercial. He fabricated a Red Bull commercial with himself, like sponsoring Red Bull, and then before he got his first YouTube advertiser, and then when he was approaching advertisers, he's like, well, look at what this thing I did with Red Bull. And that gave him credibility to get more advertisers.
Nice.
But he had never had an advertiser before.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So if
because what are they gonna do? Call Red Bull and be like, "Is this real?"
Yeah. So if you didn't,
because who makes fake commercials?
Yeah. So if you didn't read through the lines there, this episode is not sponsored. Nobody paid me to say that, but we hope one day.
The pleasure in my mouth paid for that.
If you'd like to sponsor this episode, if you'd like to advertise on this episode, I have the rates typed out on my phone. I will do an ad read for like $25.
Yep. And it could be for anything.
It can be for anything. We will do an ad read. So
yeah. Unironically, unless it's like
anything,
pretty much anything.
Pretty much anything not illegal, I will read.
Even some illegal things we can claim, like, it was
parody.
Exactly, we can claim parody.
So yeah, if you'd like to sponsor this episode, if you want to get your business on an episode, we're getting like nearly 100 listeners last episode.
Sheesh.
We got like 40.
Clipped it.
We got like 40 views on the YouTube video the other day, which is like above average.
Yep.
And we're getting between.
It's probably my dirty hat.
Yeah, we're getting between 20 and 80 streams across all, and then plus the YouTube. So.
Wow, that's more minutes than anyone will listen to me.
Yeah, thanks guys. Yeah, well, I don't know if you saw on the Instagram, but I posted our Spotify Wrapped, and we're in the top 25% of listened to podcasts on Spotify last year.
That's nice because there's thousands.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool, I think.
Yeah. That's not nothing.
That's not nothing, yeah. And like when I sent that in the group chat, like my business partner Zach said, like there's so many podcasts where he like finds it randomly and he's like, oh, this is interesting, I want to listen to more, and then he goes in, there's like 4 episodes because they just gave up.
Yeah.
Midway through. So
yeah, that's fair.
That was kind of our thing. It's like eventually we just keep putting out content.
People like episode 4 what?
Yeah.
4,000.
I'll keep doing this forever. Fuck it.
We'll make it work into our lives.
Yeah.
Drinking's not going out of fucking style.
Yeah, we're never gonna stop drinking. There's that
hope not.
There's that Bert Kreischer clip where he was like, I will never quit drinking. I love it so much, and I will always make sure my body is in good enough shape that I will always be able to drink.
Guy's a fucking animal. You'll get you'll get super drunk, and like to the level that would put anyone on their back for the entirety of the next day. And because he got drunk, he'll get up extra early and work out super hard through the hangover to like be primed for the rest of the day. The guy's
I know people.
The guy's an animal.
I know people that do that. They're like, the best way to get rid of a hangover is a fucking jog.
Fuck.
And I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. You just run it out and you puke and you feel like shit the whole time, but when you're done, you feel better.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
That's probably how it is.
My hangover. Yeah, no. Honestly, working does help. I'm hungover a lot. Working gets your mind off of it. It helps.
Yeah.
But if I ever have like a day to recover, I like hot shower and then nap immediately, and then usually that cures it. Yeah, or I just keep drinking.
I want to try out some of these hangover cures. That's
like
who we
weird
really
ones?
need to be sponsored by, like Liquid IV and these. What's this other one? Apparently
There's a local guy that has a company. It's like herbs or something, and it supposedly works.
No, I'm thinking about like I don't know if it was Stantec or not Stantec. What am I thinking?
I don't know about the liquid IV thing. I don't like needles.
No, it's not an IV. Liquid. It's just like it's powder you put in water.
Well, have you seen that? Like they put an IV on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
That
supposed.
probably works.
This is supposed to be like the next best thing
Okay.
to an IV. But yeah, it's just powder you add to your water bottle. No, I think it was maybe like an MIT group of kids that came up with a chemical for their thesis, I guess, which is hilarious because engineers love to fucking drink.
True.
And it breaks down the toxic byproduct that alcohol creates in your stomach. So you drink it like before drinking, and then when you start drinking, it breaks down all those toxins into whatever its basic components, and then it becomes basically impossible to get a hangover because it's all flushed from your system by the time you wake up the next morning.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You drink it before drinking?
Yeah.
Okay.
You drink it like an hour before you start drinking alcohol, and then you're gold. So, I want to fucking try it.
We should do it.
Yeah. And it's like, I think it's, there's nothing like crazy about it in terms of ingredients, FDA approval, whatever.
Also, I don't really care.
I'm pretty sure it's stuff that's already approved.
The kind of drugs I've done in my life, I really don't care about FDA approval. Like,
Fair.
let's be honest. There's worse things you can put in your body. I saw that before caffeine was widely available, before coffee and tea, everyone just drank alcohol, like
Right.
15 hours a day.
Fair. It
to,
works.
to stimulate themselves, but also because it was safer than drinking the water,
Yeah.
right?
And the beer was weak as fuck.
And you'd give like hard cider to your kids in the morning, and then you just drink whiskey all day.
No wonder kids could focus.
Yeah, so apparently
just fucking half baked.
But then apparently when caffeine was first cultivated and brought to Europe, and like they started drinking tea,
Right.
that was like what caused that like era of enlightenment in like the 1500s in France and England, allegedly.
Everyone just stopped being
was
drunk all the time.
Well, and then when they started using machinery, it was like
And also they were boiling the water for tea, so it was
boiling is even
was-
more safe
yeah.
than drinking alcohol for curing water.
well, just boil your alcohol.
Well, no, because I think what they would do is like mix whiskey with water
Right.
to drink the water,
Oh, right.
but it even safer is boiling it.
Right.
So they did that for the tea, and then that helped with disease. But then also like, it's easy to like, or not easy, but like it's working outside, picking fucking grapes, whatever, drunk. That's one thing. But like as soon as the machinery started being it's like you kind of want to clear your head
Yeah.
than that.
And
So-
also, people used to only work like 4 to 5 hours a day, and it wasn't super hard work and didn't work all year round.
yeah, so like caffeine is kind of like wonder drug kind of thing,
Yes.
which is interesting.
And it's just as addictive as alcohol, I think.
Yeah, you know what my problem is? I don't like the taste of coffee.
Yeah.
I take caffeine pills in the morning, and
Still not on ginseng.
no,
eh?
that bottle you were touching in there has ginseng in it.
Oh.
Yeah. I really want to like coffee.
That's fair.
I
mean,
want to like
yeah.
it, but I just can't do it. And then
I fell in love with coffee when I was like 11.
at
And I
the
was like, black coffee. And then when I was like 12, I was just drinking straight black coffee. And people looked at me like I was a maniac.
Because then at the point where because like I'll like coffee, but I need like 4 creams and 2 sugars.
Yeah,
and then at that point, it's like, why am I drinking? I'll just drink a fucking milkshake at that point.
Right,
like,
yeah.
You know,
You need like honestly, you would probably enjoy like an oat milk latte with a bit of caramel in it, which is very little to no sugar, and you probably like the flavor.
Yeah, because like I'll take an espresso shot every so often.
Right.
Double espresso shot if I'm at a fucking cafe or something.
But that's not for pleasure.
No, just to get my my head in the game. But yeah, I like Bailey's. That's almost kind of like coffee.
It's basically milk.
I don't like milk though.
Yeah.
I just had oat milk yesterday for the first time.
And
It's fine.
yeah,
It's fine.
it's great with coffee.
I
Like it's the vanilla flavored stuff is awesome for drinks.
It was my mother's birthday, so I went over to their house, and then my father mumbled something under his breath and just left, and I was just alone in their house.
Oh.
And so my instincts kicked in as soon as I was alone in my parents' house. And I'm like, I'm gonna go see what they have in their cupboard.
Yeah.
So I was eating some Shreddies.
Yeah.
It's like 4 PM. And I look, and the jug of milk they have expired 3 weeks ago.
Nice.
And I'm like, just throw it out, right? And then but they had some oat milk, so I'm like, oat milk and Shreddies, let's go. Shreddies pretty lit, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
And then I was like, they're like, did you have a bowl of cereal? I'm like, no. And I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, your milk's fucking 3 weeks expired. They're like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, if you know, then dump it out, right?
They're like, we're making Go-Gurts.
I don't know how my father is such a clean freak, but then the fridge is disgusting.
There's always one.
Like, I don't know.
There's
why.
always one thing
Yeah.
that people don't deal with.
Yeah. And it's like not cold enough.
Oh.
Like, I turned down the coldness. So like, don't turn it down. I'm like, it's literally rotting your vegetables. So like, no, I don't think it is. It's like,
It's a fridge. It's supposed to be fucking cold.
there's shit in there that's still from like when I moved out. Like,
That's rough.
yeah.
Oat milk lasts a lot longer than dairy milk too, which is great.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I looked at the expiry on that. It was like next year. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good shit.
Oats don't have tits.
Oats don't have tits, and they don't grow on trees in California, making everyone die.
Oh yeah,
But
because
apparently
almonds are like the worst thing for the environment.
the
right?
worst thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of things going around recently about oat milk though, because if you use like seed oils in the production, like some oat milks use seed oils as one of their main ingredients, and the seed oils that some of these cheaper brands use is like really fucking toxic. Like it's way worse for you than anything that dairy could do. And it's like, oh, okay, well that's just a product spoiled for me. But I looked at the ingredients, the one that I buy, and they don't have it. But yeah, it's doesn't matter what you're gonna fucking eat, it's gonna give you cancer if you Google long enough.
Yeah, yeah. And also, it doesn't matter what you can be drinking the most, organic, healthy stuff, but it was packaged with microplastics. So you're getting plastics in your lungs anyway. So
Yeah, who was telling us the other day about car production?
that was me.
Oh, right, you sent that video.
Yeah, every single. So like a part gets manufactured like for like a side mirror. The
And for reference, I think the average. I'm gonna check this right now, but okay, anyway, keep talking.
Yeah, the part gets like manufactured in China, wrapped in plastic, shipped to Korea, where it gets like a bolt put in it, and then shipped to Taiwan, where it gets like whatever, shipped to America, shipped back to China, shipped back to America, then put in a car.
Okay.
And every time they ship it, it's like wrapped in plastic that's just thrown away
So my gut was right. 30,000 parts
to make one car.
on average.
Yeah. So that happens 30,000 times per car. And they were saying like it was like a TikTok of like one of those Reddit confession threads that was like, what's something that like in your industry that's like not common knowledge? He's like, yeah, I'm an executive at a car company, and like the amount of like we do that 30,000 times per car for like 6 million cars a year.
Right.
And all that plastic just goes in the ocean.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's supposed to be recycled.
That is recycling.
We've talked about the garbage patch conspiracy, right?
Um
No, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch.
Yeah, it's called England.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Thanks, buddy.
I saw someone overlaid an image, like a satellite image of the Pacific garbage patch over and superimposed it over the U.S.
Yeah.
It covered like a third.
Yeah, I thought it was like as big as Texas.
No, it was bigger. It was like a
Perfect.
third of the U.S. landmass.
Awesome.
Why
Why don't we just nuke it?
Awesome. That's the even better. One of the best explanations I've heard of this, obviously a lot of it comes from like developing nations that are just like they don't have a way to deal with their trash, and they're dealing with single-use plastics, but they don't have infrastructure. They just have ships coming in dumping stuff off. But also, obviously the US consumes more single-use materials than anybody else by fucking miles. And an investigative reporter, I'm going to hopefully not do them an injustice, looked into this and found that a lot of like small towns, small cities, even big cities, they all deal with recycling through, all governments use public tenders, right? And a tender is just like a bid, or sorry, like what do they call it? Like a prospectus, a list of demands that they have that need to be met. And companies
needs to be meat.
Needs
Only
to be
butchers
meat.
can apply.
Only meat. Contractors can bid on filling that need, and then that goes to whatever contractor, usually the lowest bidder. That's quote-unquote credible. And there's the process. Like, there's really nothing else that goes on.
I have a...
So if you bid for a recycling contract, and they're like, here you go, here's your recycling contract, they don't check whether you're actually recycling the shit.
I have a fun fact I just learned about government contracts.
Oh, boy.
Do you know what a shelf company is?
A shelf company?
Yeah.
No.
So it's a company that manufactures shelves. Just kidding. So it's basically a company that's just on paper.
Right.
That's never done anything.
So a shell company.
No. A shell company.
Shell company, but dormant.
Basically, yeah. But so there's like shelf companies you can buy that are like founded in like 1850 in America.
Damn.
So then you can put like established 1850 on your
right, and you
on your
can
thing, and it's legal because it was technically. But so apparently, because I never really got it, like it's like why would anyone spend thousands of dollars like
you should do this for your winery 100%.
But like okay, but why would I? But so what I just learned the other day was apparently the primary market for shelf companies is to bid on a government contract in America, your company needs to be 3 years old.
Okay.
So all
and a
these...
5-year-old shelf company is probably not that expensive.
Exactly. So apparently people make a living registering a company for like $1,000 and then paying the yearly files, so whatever it is, $1,000 a year to keep it filed, and then in 10 years start hawking them for $10,000 a piece, and just do that, and people make a living doing that. And so I thought that was interesting, because I'm like, I never really got why, other than vanity, why anyone would buy a company just to seem older. Like that's, a simple Google search could prove that my winery wasn't founded in 1943, right?
I mean, you could, anybody using the Wayback Machine could probably figure it out, but you could just fake it.
I really don't think
you could just Photoshop yourself into pictures that are 100 years old.
I don't think it's regulated. I'm pretty sure I can put since 1492 on my label.
That would be a meme. That would be funny.
And I don't think anyone will do anything. I don't think it's regulated.
Yeah.
But
that make you some more friends on Twitter.
It's disingenuous, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so apparently that's government, to bid on government contracts, you need to have a 3-year-old company history. So that's what they'll do.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Did you watch the movie War Dogs? Jonah
Yes.
Hill? Yeah. So they bid on the contract like 1/100th of what the next guy bid.
Yeah.
On the weapons contract.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, to be honest, we were surprised how low you came in. They're like, how much? It was like $100 million lower or something.
And they're like, shit.
And then it cuts and they're out in the hallway and Jonah Hill's fucking swearing and punching, but they're in this like Pentagon.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. That's a real story too.
Yeah. So basically, that's how government contracts work. Super scientific. Give it to the lowest bidder as long as they're fucking valid, and as long as they meet the basic requirements and they're the lowest bidder, they get the bid.
That's what's happening with our fucking snow removal right now.
Right. Yeah. So they get the bid. They get all the plastic and shit, And what do these companies do? Most of the time, it's not set up a complex, comprehensive recycling system that is the most economical and ecologically friendly. No, they want to make fucking bank. So what they do, they subcontract that shit and they sell it to a distributor. They sell all they maybe they'll do the collection themselves, and they'll take all the stuff that they collect and they will contract it to a mass distribution recycler who just shows up with 18-wheelers every single week or every single day and just picks shit up, takes it away, and they don't think about it. Whatever, not my problem. That guy's problem. That recycler maybe is the same kind of motherfucker who's just like, you know what? I'm gonna, get all these contracts from all these cities. I'm just gonna send trucks out, pick up their plastic, get paid a bunch of money for it, and I just send it to a guy who's at the port of Vancouver, and he loads it up in shipping containers, and he just like takes it to China where they can actually process this stuff and turn it back into stuff, because that's where everything comes from anyways. It all comes from China.
This is all adding up in my head right now.
Let's send it to China. Okay, yeah. So it goes on the ship.
China.
Motherfucker takes it on the ship across the sea, and these containers land in China. And the guy in China who's buying it is like, you know what? I'm just going to put this back on a barge, ship it out, and just dump it in the fucking ocean, because that's a lot cheaper than paying people to actually process this stuff. And who will know? I'm just being paid to receive this. Nobody's checking on what I do with it.
So, Tyler, what you're saying is...
The Chinese did it.
The Chinese did it.
Well, it's being done from the American side, Canadian side, and
everyone's
Asian Pacific side.
Everyone's complicit.
Right. Everyone is complicit in the system because there's no accountability. There's no checks. Like, that's just how it is. And it's a completely believable story because it's how shit works. I mean, we started with the fucking car thing. That's how cars work. That's how everything works. It just gets shipped around the world. It's subcontractor, courier, subcontractor, end user, ocean. The ocean's the end user.
Yeah,
obviously.
The ocean is the end user.
Yeah, the electrical eels begging for batteries.
On one of my work fridges, I have a sticker that says, I throw my used car batteries in the ocean.
Yeah.
And every time I hire a new employee, I have to explain all the things that are in my...
All the memes, yeah.
All the memes that are in the... There's a jar of some sort of alcohol on a shelf in the back that says "Fetus, do not drink."
And what's in it?
I don't know. Some guy brought us some alcohol one time. So I opened the bar on a Sunday, and there's a guy sitting on my stoop. And he walks in at right when I unlock the door. And I'm still opening. And he's like, "Hey, I've been sitting on the stoop for an hour and a half." I'm like, "All right, how can I help you?" Puts a backpack down on the bar. Starts pulling out jars of alcohol. He's like, "I'm a home brewer. I want to start a distillery. Taste this and tell me if I have, give me pointers, because you're a successful business owner." And my business partner was there. And it was during COVID, and I was wearing a mask. And I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I'm not allowed to." Number one, I'm not allowed to drink on the job. Number two, I'm not taking off my mask for this. Yeah. And I think my business partner did, in fact, drink some. Which I'm like, this is sus.
I can see him doing that. Like a jar from a stranger? Fuck yeah, let's do it.
And I believe it wasn't great. And then even if it was, I always I probably once every quarter I get people that hit me up, like random strangers that send like a contact form submission to my website being like, "Hey, we're trying to start a winery, we're trying to start a brewery, we're trying to start a distillery. Could we come pick your brain?"
Mm-hmm.
To talk about it. And I answer them honestly. I've probably done this 30 times in 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I answer them honestly, and I've never heard from a single one of them ever again.
Yeah.
Because it's very difficult to start a distillery, and it's not very profitable, and you just shouldn't do it. Don't start a business. Go get a job. Honestly, guys, that's my business advice.
Yeah, get a job.
Job.
Don't get into the liquor industry.
If you're trying to make money, don't start a business. It's dumb.
Man, you just summed up all the advice that I'm gonna give as a consultant in the future.
Don't do it. If you
Your ideas are bad and you're bad.
if you want to start a business, you should be doing it not for the money, like,
Right.
because you're not going to make a lot of money.
Well, not in this province.
No, statistically, you're not going to make a lot of money running
That's
a
fair.
business.
Okay, yeah, statistically, yes.
Like the amount of businesses that earn over $1 million, I think, is like 10%.
Right.
Like statistically, you're not going to earn a ton of money being a business owner. Now, I didn't care. My reasons for running a business are very different than making a bunch of money.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to just make money, there's easier ways to go about it. Go get a job.
Yeah, go work at a bank.
You literally just have to show up and dog fuck it for 6 hours a day, work for 2, and they'll pay you.
Yeah, and if it's the government, they'll give you a great pension to boot.
Yeah. Until the entire pension system falls apart because it's a Ponzi scheme. But that's a conversation for a different day.
In roughly 7,000 episodes, we'll talk about pension. 7,096. I'm speaking this into existence right now. Pension has collapsed.
Okay.
Pandemonium in the streets. My neighbor's house is on fire.
Perfect. So there's a leftover jar of alcohol from this man, and I labeled it "Fetus Do Not Drink," and then put it on a shelf in the back of the winery, and it's just been sitting there for like a year.
I kind of want to try it now.
It's aged now.
Yeah, it's
in like a mason jar.
that doesn't help.
No, it's not there's too much air getting in there.
Can you get a tiny oak barrel? For like a gallon?
I don't know if you could get one.
To age a gallon of whiskey, and then to sell it for an obscene amount of money.
I wonder if there's a market for that.
That sounds.
We may have just invented a business.
Ooh.
Make your own whiskey at home. Here's a 1-gallon barrel.
So we've had a business idea in the past that you can entirely cut this out if you want to keep it for yourself.
Sure.
Aging wine for people's like big life events.
Yeah.
And weddings.
Yeah. Good luck. I'm not cutting this out. Good luck doing this, guy.
That's fair.
If I can't pull it off. Yeah, so like somebody
barrel
comes
your
to
seasonal
you,
wine.
Yeah, somebody comes to you and they say, "I just had a kid. I want a wine age for 18 years," and then you get them to pay you up front, and then in 18 years you give it to them for their kid's 18th birthday.
Yeah.
But then you have to store it, obviously.
Right.
So, and my storage comes at a premium. Like I'm out of space.
Right, but if it was just storage at whatever temperature, you could plan for that. It was a business, right?
Yeah, you get yeah.
Put it in a basement somewhere,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Leave it. Forget about it. I think it's a fun idea.
We haven't done custom wines yet, but I've done like custom batches where like I put we've done it for weddings.
Yeah.
Where the couple puts their name on the bottle.
Right,
And
which
like I
is a
do
labeling
custom
thing.
labels. That's fun. I have people all the time ask me a couple different things. If I'll make them a custom wine, or if they bring their own fruit, could I make them a custom wine for cheaper out of the fruit? And I'm open to doing it, but I tell them I'm like my smallest vessel is 1,000 liters.
Right.
And it depends on the fruit, 2 to 1 or 3 to 1 ratio from pounds to liters.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you bring me 3,000 pounds of fruit. Yeah, we can definitely consider doing that.
And they're like, oh.
And they're always like, oh. Like, because I'll have people be like, I have this tree in my backyard.
Right.
Can you make it into wine if I pay you like the equivalent of $4 a bottle or whatever?
Yeah.
And it's like, just make it yourself, right? Like at that point,
that's what homebrewing's for.
and it's not even like me trying to be a dick, being like, I'm too big for you. It's like I physically cannot put that much in my equipment.
Yeah.
Like it does not work.
Like I got a carboy over there.
Like, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? But like if I'm gonna make a carboy, Zach's not gonna do much different than you're gonna do at home.
Right.
Like read some pro brewer forums, watch a YouTube video.
But I think there's a very compelling potential for income there. Like you could charge people.
Well,
you basically use home brewing supplies bleep it out. When you have the space, just have an event like this,
Well, no,
charge a
so-
premium on the
so-
ticket, and you just have people brew shit and they take it home.
No, see here, the biggest brew supply store in the province does that.
Okay.
They do brew on site. They have 160 carboys
Okay.
capacity.
But do they have clout?
Oh yeah, it's full.
So
You gotta like wait to do it.
why can't you get in on that action?
I guess I could. Yeah,
Because
I'm
you
just-
also have clout.
do I?
And just having an event where it's
Yeah.
like, come make some fucking wine with us. It's a date night. Here you go. I mean, how would that work with licensing? I mean, if you're not
I
selling
honestly
it,
have no idea.
yeah, if you're not actually selling it, if you're just like instructing people and they're just like putting shit together on site, but it's not fermenting on site, technically,
And they take it home.
yeah,
I guess like plastic carboys are $20.
yeah, and
You
you
just take it home
you
with
just
them.
have a professional winemaker just instructing you on how to turn your shit fruit into wine. That'd be kind of cool.
The problem is it's like a process.
Yeah.
It's like a multi-day process.
Yeah, that's the problem with all these things. People are like, oh, I want to do something fun. They're like, oh, it's work.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, because like you need like the primary fermentation, and then you need to like adjust stuff, and then you need to
Right.
like in 3 days, then you need to put the airlock on, and like
So it's not sexy.
it's not no. People are always like, "Can I get a tour of the winery?" And I'm like, it's not exciting.
I think a lot of manufacturing people are like, oh, I want to see how cars are made. It's like, yeah, you want to see a bunch of robots screaming? Sure.
That was my nickname. No, that was the name of my band in high school. Screaming Robots. We did Mongolian throat singing.
Mongolian throat. What?
Anyway, we'll probably wrap it up coming up here. Is there anything, because this is the theme of the podcast overall, is there anything that we talked about today that now that you're drunk, you think that you've come around on or changed your mind?
So, child.
So actually, that's what I was about to say. I actually think child pornography is bad.
Okay.
No, I was kind of on the
Spicy.
no, I was kind of on the maybe the AI child porn thing would be good, and now I'm thinking I don't even want to. I don't think we should do it. I just don't think we should do it.
So what? I think that is currently the stance.
How are you gonna take?
That's currently what's happening.
How
and
are
it's
you
not
gonna
working.
teach AI to make good child pornography? Do you have to make it watch child pornography?
You just broke the law. But it's
No,
not
it wasn't me. It was a robot.
It's not a person, so it doesn't count.
Yeah.
This is the worst topic ever. But
Yeah, it's a bad topic.
it's the worst topic ever, but that's why it never fucking evolves.
Comes up, yeah.
Because nobody can talk about it. There can be no good faith, bad faith, any kind of discussion of intelligence in any forum, political, local, or otherwise, that's gonna happen. Like, where's the discussion gonna happen?
Yeah.
It's just never gonna happen, and people pretend that it doesn't happen, and then it just continues to be an issue because nobody wants to acknowledge it.
Well, and anyone who has the opinion that child porn is maybe good, won't say it to anybody.
Right. So
Right.
there's just there's no way for this to have progress. So
Yeah.
I'm not making it my life mission, and
No, me neither.
for fuck's sake, it's not going to be this podcast.
Because for me to make it my life mission or any project or anything, I'd have to like think about it more, and I really just don't want to think about child pornography anymore.
Exactly. That just proves the point. It's
know.
terrible. It's bullshit and it's bad for you.
It is all bullshit and it's bad for you. So
In that respect, I would say don't start a business. And
you can if you want. Just
Just-
don't do it. If you're trying to make a lot of money, it's probably not going to work out.
probably not, but it might.
Yeah, you could be Zucker Musk.
Or as successful as one of us. He just literally dropped something on the floor and gave me a look. He's like, what?
Thanks for listening, guys, to Alcohol Beyond This Point, the podcast where we debate business topics both sober and drunk. I might censor every time I said child frog on me. Hold on. Just wait 20 seconds. 15. 10. 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. That was exactly an hour. Wow.
I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Thank you.
Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast.
This isn't two podcasters talking business. This is two business guys trying to podcast.